Hello, just a quick one from me before the video starts. This is part 2 of a two-parter series, so if you haven't watched the first one yet, I highly recommend you watch that first, because this video makes a bit more sense, because it starts off in between Black Ops 2's life cycle. So yeah, please go and watch that one first, then come back to this one. And just a massive shout out to Perfect Vibes for the background music, literally a lifesaver. So go and check out that channel. Great for content creators to have someone making music solely for them to use in the videos, so a massive shout out to Perfect Vibes. And yeah, let's get on with the video. Thank you for the support, thanks for watching, and I'll see you when I see you. Mob of the Dead is probably one of the most iconic zombies maps of all time. It literally saved the mode. I think one of the main reasons Mob and the other two maps that came after it did so well was because you were finally being rewarded for mastering the map. For example, in Mob of the Dead, there's a lot of things you need to do to get yourself set up, from getting the Hell's Retriever and even opening up Pack-a-Punch. But what sets Mob apart from Transit and Die Rise is the afterlife mechanic. Rather than buying Quick Revive, you now spawn in with 3 lives, which automatically fill up after each round. But it isn't just a revival mechanic either. Whilst you're down, you enter this ghost-like state, which you can use to pair up perks and find secrets around Alcatraz to help you progress through the map. It also stops the player from being put off from playing the map, because even going down feels like part of the game. Now I remember spending whole nights just learning the map and how to do certain things in a certain way. It's the first map that was a joy to learn and play over and over again, and also the setting and tone of the map is so unique. It's set away from the Black Ops 2 story, and instead it's set on Alcatraz Island with 4 gangsters trying to escape the island, all voiced by pretty famous actors, one of them being Ray Liotta. But there's just something so special about Mob's setting that adds to the mode. The prison itself is a perfect layout for a zombies map. First time playing it you feel lost and completely stuck, but after you've played it a few times you know the layout like the back of your hand, just like the prisoners you're playing as. Mob will always be a special map to me, as it's the first zombies map I truly mastered and spent hours doing so. Then we had Buried, a map made by the same person who made Transit and Die Rise, not Mob of the Dead though. That was actually made by the team who made the campaign. So how was he? Well, Buried was actually really fun. It was way more casual than Mob, but still had some interesting mechanics, which meant that you could manipulate the point system to get things like Jug and Pack-a-Punch even before round 5. There was also ways to get more than just 4 perks by doing things like manipulating the time machine after going through the ghost house, which by the way, fuck that place. And of course there's Leroy, who can help open doors and help keep the mystery box in place, among other things. Buried was much more simpler than Mob, but it still had a level of mastery to it, which made it so fun to play. Then there was Origins. To this day, Origins is still probably the most impressive map in zombies history. The size, the setting, the tone, the goddamn massive robot things stomping the fuck out of you. It definitely earns the place of the final map of BO2, and it is also super difficult. But again, if you master the map and all its parts, it can be one of the most rewarding experiences in zombies. Most of that is down to getting all the staff parts and its Easter egg. It also felt like the team had finally found the perfect formula for zombies. You take the 4 pillars from World at War, you add the Easter eggs and story from BO1, then finally you take the trial and error of mastering the complex maps in BO2, and this is what you end up with. So here we are, Black Ops 3. To most this is the definitive zombies game, and I would agree. It has everything the first 3 had, but just worked on perfecting those elements. First up was Shadows of Evil, which is very similar to Mob of the Dead, but I do have a bit of an unpopular opinion. I think Shadows being the starter map on this game was a bad move, as it was just way too much for a starter map. Just the sheer size and the amount of things to do just meant it was a little overwhelming for the casual players, and I reckon the Eisendrache, the first DLC map, would have been a better choice, due to it being a bit smaller and easier to master. But hey, Shadows is still just like Origins and Mob, and is seen as one of the best maps of all time. Which means Jason Blundell, the developer on all 3 of these maps, now had a 100% record when it came to making the zombies community happy. Some people were put off by Shadow's complex layout and systems, myself included, but looking back on it now I should have loved this map. It has a lot of similarities to Mob, but if you wanted something a bit more simple, the Season Pass came with The Giant, a remake of Derice from World at War, with little to no changes. Throughout the DLC season, it was kind of a mixed bag. On one hand you had the Eisendrache and Gorod Krovi, 2 maps that definitely delivered that definitive zombies experience, while on the other hand you had Zetsubo no Shima and Revelations. Not bad maps, but for one reason or another they just didn't hit the same as the other 2. Obviously you'd expect me to go into more detail about Black Ops 3's maps, but this video is already super long and I still have 2 games to go, so from this point on I am just going to try and summarise the game as a whole. So when it comes to Black Ops 3, I think it's easy to see why people love it so much. Every map in this game is lots of fun to play. There isn't any that people think just suck. They introduced Gobblegums, a system that was super unique and added another element of strategy to high rounding and or Easter egg steps, and of course the story was getting more and more people engaged in the mode, especially the community on YouTube, which was thriving at this point. Oh, and then you also have Zombies Chronicles as well, which for months was just a rumour of a 5th DLC pack which was going to release for Black Ops 3. But not only that, it was going to release during Infinite Warfare's life cycle, which had never been done before. The pack would contain 8 classic Zombies maps remastered in all their glory in Black Ops 3, and it became one of the best selling DLCs of all time. So not only did BO3 have 5 great original maps, it also had 9 classic ones added as well, and all of them are bangers. Well, maybe except for this one. But if you don't think that's enough, on the PC side of things the developers fully embraced the custom map community, which meant that there was literally hundreds of fan-made maps out there for you to play. They really did hit the jackpot with this game. This was the peak of the mode for sure, but just like anything that hits its peak, there's always a chance it could come crashing down. Between the release of Black Ops 3 and 4, the other 2 COD studios would try and make their own iteration of the mode. Infinite Warfare was first, and even though their first map, Zombies in Spaceland, was well received, sadly, due to the game's poor reception overall, a lot of people lost interest in the DLC, especially when Zombies Chronicles released for BL3 in between IW's DLC season. Then we got World War II Zombies, which looked very promising with its much darker tone, but sadly it was just missing so much of what made Treyarchs mode so special. And then in 2018 we got Black Ops 4, and people were hype, to say the least. But on the 12th of October in 2018, the mood began to change, because you see Treyarch didn't just do the usual 1 or 2 launch maps, they released 4 whole, separate, fully fledged maps at launch, 2 in a new storyline, these being Voyage of Despair and 9, then 2 in the old storyline, which were also remakes of 5, being called Classified, and also Blood of the Dead being a remake of, well, Mob of the Dead. You'd think that this would be the best release in the mode's history, but it was just the complete opposite. So many game breaking glitches, so many changes to the core gameplay in terms of perks and specialists, meant that BO4 got quite a negative reception, and the DLC maps weren't so well received either. The first 2 maps were in the New Chaos storyline, and were actually pretty good for BO4 standards, but sadly the whole DLC season for BO4 was a mess. The first map, Dead of the Night, didn't even get a reveal trailer or anything, it just released randomly in December, and the last 2 DLC maps based in the original Aether storyline seemed to be rushed, as the cutscenes had been replaced with illustrations straight off of a storyboard, and the maps themselves were just remakes of other zombie maps. It's safe to say Black Ops 4 missed the mark entirely, and I think a massive part of that was the team's consistent attempt to try and fix things that weren't broken, but also it seems that Activision was solely focused on getting BO4's Battle Royale mode, Blackout, to compete with Fortnite. Zombies was struggling in BO4, and it's sad to see, because I recently went back to play it for this video, and I can honestly say I had a blast going back, especially maps like 9 and Ancient Evil, but also Blood of the Dead and Classified were super fun to play. I don't think BO4 was as bad as everyone says it is, it just wasn't BO3. They changed too much of what made the earlier games fun, and made it too easy in some aspects to survive high rounds. There was no challenge whatsoever to surviving past round 30 in any of these maps, whereas in the past it felt like you achieved something even if you passed round 25 in some map. I actually really like a lot of what BO4 has to offer, but I think it failed to capture that same magic that BO3 and the later stages of BO2 had in terms of its gameplay loop. After BO4's DLC season wrapped up in 2019, we finally got a break from zombies for the first time in 6 years with the release of Modern Warfare, but in 2020 it was finally time to go back to Treyarch and see what this new era of zombies would look like, and that's when we got this. Cold War Zombies would be the first entry into the Warzone era of COD for the mode, and it shows, even with things like the HUD, armour, and the fact that you knew players just a random operator from multiplayer. But that didn't stop the first map from being super fun. Cold War released during a COVID lockdown here in the UK, so I spent about 3 days straight just playing this map over and over again. D Machine was a very easy map to master, and just like BO4 was super easy to get to high rounds on. But the one thing I really like about Cold War was the upgrade system. Now you could earn these things called crystals in game to upgrade things like perks and field upgrades, which would buff the item with each level, making them more powerful each time you you played, giving you a reason to constantly try and survive more and more rounds. The other changes included the armour system, very similar to Warzone's system, and gun rarities. Now guns would come in different colours of rarity, meaning guns with a gold or a purple outline were much more powerful than ones with a green or blue outline. Overall, this meant that Cold War Zombies was very grindy to say the least. There was a lot for you to upgrade, not just in game, but throughout its life cycle as well. The game released with just one map at launch, and it would be a while before we'd get another one, that being Firebase Z, which would release in April of 2021. It was a long wait, and it's something we'd have to get used to in the Cold War DLC cycle, with each map taking around 4 to 5 months to release throughout the year. Yeah, the maps were free this time round, and yeah, we got Outbreak in between all of that, but still felt like forever waiting for the new maps to drop. And speaking of Outbreak, that mode was so boring if you were playing it solo. If you had some friends, it did make it pretty entertaining.
Fuck! Let's get a draw again. Why did you kill me?
No, 5 seconds earlier he was saying, it's alright Mark, it's gonna be alright. Hadja, and you wonder why I didn't get in the car with him.
Okay, you know what? I'm leaving. No, I'm walking with Owen and Mark. I'm walking with Owen and Mark. This man, Danny.
Thanks, Danny. I blame Danny, Mark, not you.
Why has he set this off?
Danny just killed us all.
Danny,
Did you see what he did?
You're a big ginger bastard. I hate you, mate. Genuinely.
That was pretty funny.
How far expecting that to happen?
Oh my god. Danny, what even happened?
Can I get a refund, please?
Even though the waits were long and the maps were literally just reused assets from the campaign, I can honestly say I had a lot of fun playing them. Each map offered something new, and the most fun I had to be learning the layout for Mao the Toten. I think that was my overall favourite map. But throughout Cold War's life cycle, it always felt like something was missing. I think that was down to the overall look of the mode. It didn't feel like zombies, it felt like a mode in Warzone. It had a mini-map, the zombies had health bars, you played as operators rather than a set crew with voice lines to do with the map. Just compare starting up Mob of the Dead to starting up Cold War Zombies.
A strike team is approaching the village, awaiting your orders, Beaver.
Ravenov, my team has reached the village. Do you copy?
Hurrah! Requiem. Welcome to Vietnam.
Fuck? Where am I? What's going on? Sal? Finn? You here? Plan. We had a plan. Gotta find the parts, gotta get out of here.
The atmosphere is just off, and even though I think the gameplay mechanics overall were a welcome addition, the fact that you can call in kill streaks in a zombies mode just seems a bit strange. For me, Cold War is a good game, but I just don't think it will ever be remembered as fondly as BO2 or BO3, as it seemed like it took a step back when making the zombies mode feel unique and its own game, rather than just an add-on for Warzone. So here we are, present day. When you're watching this, Black Ops 6 has probably been out for a week or so, and Zombies has either flopped or done extremely well. As I'm writing this, Treyarch announced a bunch of improvements to the look and vibe of Liberty Falls, which fans voiced their concerns about after the reveal. It's positive to see them take on criticism and fix things even before the game releases. The 4 years since Cold War have been a bit of a rough patch for Zombies fans. First we had Vanguard Zombies, which I'm not even gonna talk about. Then we had the Modern Warfare 3 mode, which I think I put about 5 minutes into it, and then never touched it again. So I think fans just want BO6 to succeed and be good, and I for one think it will be. It seems like the devs are listening to what fans want. Gobblegums are back, we have 2 maps at launch with a 3rd coming before the end of the year. Treyarch seem to be heading in the right direction. I just really hope they don't fuck it up. So there we are, an almost complete history of Treyarch Zombie mode, starting all the way back in 2008. It's been fun to look back on all these games and really trying to find out what makes round-based zombies so special, and I think it's a number of things. Obviously first you have the 4 pillars I spoke about in World at War, then you take the storytelling and Easter eggs from BO1, and finally you add the trial and error of learning and mastering the map in BO2. And to top it all off, I think you need that atmosphere and vibe you get when starting up a map for the first time. Just you, your pistol, and that difficult decision on which door to buy first. I doubt Black Ops 6 will have all that. Regardless, I'm pretty sure I'll still be spending hours getting to high rounds and still getting just as excited about seeing the ray gun in the mystery box as I was all those years back in World at War. So that's it for today. If you've made it to the end of the video, thank you so much for watching. I know I've taken a big risk with this new style of video, so if you have enjoyed, please leave a like and comment down below on what you think makes round-based zombies so special. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe, as I've got more content coming like this throughout the next couple of months. I'm not going to give too much away about my next video, but all I'm going to say is one of my favourite games of all time is celebrating a very big milestone, and you don't want to miss it. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, I'll see you when I see you.